Right, g'day.
Hello.
We're just on our way to have morning tea with Prime Minister John Howard.
Of Australia,
So
apparently.
we don't really know why we're going, do we? Somehow we got an invitation.
Somehow we got invited.
I don't know. We got invited and yeah, we're gonna ask him something.
Something about YouTube.
Yeah,
probably.
we might ask him something, or we might throw something at him. You know, we'll make the news hopefully.
Yeah.
And this will end in a jail sentence for possibly Heidi.
Because of what I'm wearing.
No, it was just whatever we do, I'll blame on you, and you'll end up taking the rap for it. You'll take the rap.
Right.
So, yeah, maybe
now, hopefully he's not on a screen this time. Because last time we thought...
Don't tell them that. Never say that.
What?
Never tell them the embarrassing stories. Alright,
Okay, we'll leave that one.
we'll leave that. Yeah, but the Liberals, we've got to keep an eye on them. Not that I'm Labor either. I don't like anyone, do I?
No.
Yeah, not a fan. So we're going to go, and if we get footage, we get footage. If we don't, well, maybe you'll just have this vlog and the promise that we have seen the Prime Minister, and maybe...
You'll have to believe us.
Yeah, and if I throw something at his head, I'll let you know, I'm sure. Right, bye.
Bye.
Thank you very much, Kay. I also acknowledge the presence of my two other parliamentary colleagues in Margaret May and David Joel, and welcome my two new parliamentary colleagues after the next election in Wendy Crichton as the new member for Ford, and Stuart Robert as the new member for Fadden. We are built on the belief that the worth of a person is determined by their character and what they contribute to their community, not according to their social background, how much money they have, what the colour of their skin is, or their religion is, or their race or their nationality is. Rather, it is based on character and contribution. And character and contribution of 20 million Australians is what defines this country and will give us opportunity into the future. We are situated in the tip, on the rim of the fastest growing economic area in the world. The centre of gravity of world economic fortune and activity is shifting to the Asia Pacific region. By 2025 there will be 800 million people who can be broadly defined as middle class living in the Asia Pacific region, most particularly here in China and India. And the economic links we have with those two countries will be enormously to the benefit of Australia. The other thing we have going for us, and it's evident here in this hall in Beenleigh, we have strong communities. The spirit of volunteerism in Australia is as strong as you'll find anywhere in the world, and stronger than most. We can work together in adversity like none other. And the reason we can work together in adversity is that we are not a pretentious society. We don't have any trouble working together. I've never forgotten an exchange I had with a group of people in the Royal Australian Air Force at Richmond Air Base after the terrible Bali attack in 2002, and they were describing to me the extraordinary way in which the emergency services of the Air Force and so forth had medically evacuated people within one space of 36 hours, and the way in which ranks were forgotten and everybody pitched in. And that is how we do things so much better than other countries, and I think it's a wonderful illustration of the spirit. We've got all of these things going for us. We have big challenges. We have the challenge of climate change. We have the challenge of, I won't say an ageing population, a maturing population. Maturity is valuable, experience is priceless.
And how successful Australia is now. I would really ask now, though, that we not only focus nationally, that we would raise Australia's overseas aid to help the developing nations, possibly in line with the G8 resolution, to increase it possibly to 0.5%. And if that can be taken on board, I would be really grateful.
Thank you. Fair question. We are increasing it, and we're committed to a very, very significant increases over the next 4 or 5 years, and I announced that at a meeting in New York a couple of years ago. I think direct foreign aid is important. I also think it's very important, though, that we insist that countries to whom we give aid reduce corruption and clean up their own act in terms of their governance. And the other thing we have to do is we have to make sure that we reduce trade barriers for developing countries. The poorest countries would get more out of reduced trade barriers if the G8 countries, which do not include Australia, but they are the major economies of the world, if they reduce their trade barriers, particularly against agricultural exports from some of the poorer countries, that would be of even greater help to those countries than increased aid. But I agree with you, it's a package.
Yes.
And I also want to appreciate the fact that you have allowed referendums to go ahead throughout Queensland, because Beaudesert Shire has been viciously hit. We're presently a population of 65,000 and we've had 40,000 of our people taken off us and going to Logan, along with a whole lot of our assets. We will then have less than 25,000 in Beaudesert Shire, plus the 8,000 from Burnet and 2,000 from Ipswich, which leaves us a very small shire. And Mr. Prime Minister, if we could possibly have some help, mainly to get a storage treatment plant, believe it or not, so that we can get some extra rate base so that our people aren't disadvantaged, to get Bromelton and Beaudesert up and running where we have urban footprint legally, so that we can do something as soon as possible, because we are going to be dreadfully, dreadfully stretched. Even the report the government put out said that we would be a financially stressed council after this cover.
Mrs. Bly offered you anything? Well, she's the one doing the carving up.
No, she
Yeah, well, she kept the policy.
I'm not blaming you, Mr.
No, I know you're not. Look, I'm not, and I'm not saying no to what you've praised. I'm just making the point that I'm just politely inquiring. But look, I think what you should do is pursue that through your federal member, and I'm sure it will come to me. But I mean, generally speaking, those things are in the past have been handled by state governments, and that meant to be how our system works. But I'm finding everywhere I go, more and more local government wants to interact directly with the federal government, and that's fair enough.
What I would like to know is, I understand the ramifications of the petrol price, etc., but we have family in Western Queensland in St George, and they have to pay $1.30 a litre. Now, I know money doesn't grow on trees, but I do wish there was something we could do for those poor people out there. The drought is so bad.
Well, I agree that the drought is bad, and we have, of course, in the last 2 weeks, we have very significantly increased the level of drought assistance. And not only do people now in the drought-declared areas get the equivalent of income support payments like unemployment benefits, but we have also very significant. Thank you. Very good to see you. No, I don't. Hello, good to see you.
I'll never wash his hand again. Just being shaken by the Prime Minister, so a special hand now.